that we could have been. But I know you are my liability. Yeah, liability. Oh, what a hopeless case we could be. Yeah. Oh, what a hopeless place that we're in. But I'm your liability. I know you are my liability. Yeah, I know you are my liability. Oh, what a hopeless case we could be. Yeah. Oh, what a hopeless place that we're in. But I'm your liability.
Come take my hand, I will walk with you. I won't let go till you say so. There isn't anything I wouldn't do. Wanna make sure that you understand. You're the one who gives my life color. There's no another. With your hand in mine, let me go by your side. Let me go by your side. I wanna stay in your sunlight. I wanna wake up with you by my side. Without you there is no tomorrow. We could be in for the best ride. Want this to last for the rest of our lives. Without you there is no tomorrow. Sometimes I wonder where you came from. You are special, yeah, you're special. Everything about you is so beautiful. I am all yours if you let me stay. You're the one who gives my life color. There's no another. With your hand in mine, let me go by your side. Let me go by your side. I wanna stay in your sunlight. I wanna wake up with you by my side. Without you there is no tomorrow. We could be in for the best ride. Want this to last for the rest of our lives. Without you there is no tomorrow.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. The show is called Let's Talk China. Yes, it is Saturday morning, and we are here to entertain you guys again. Remember, every Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Beijing time, we are right here to give you the latest news and talk about cool topics. Hey, listen, I just want to make it clear real quick. I am in for Alex Reporterfy Media, the original host of the show. He had his second ear surgery, so we hope he will be back real soon. But yeah, I am in for him today, and we're going to have a ton of fun. So let me quickly tell you guys what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about ByteDance, the company. We're going to talk about WeChat. Later on, we're going to get the beautiful Xiao in, and she's going to talk about Chongqing. And yeah, of course, we always think of you guys, and then later on in the show, you have a chance to call in and join us on the panel and, talk to us. Tell us what you think. Discuss with us the topic that we covered here today. Anything you want, just join us, hang out, and do it all in a positive faith, I guess. Listen, guys, I just want to quickly remind you, all super chats will be answered, but what I want you to do is, if you want a question answered by, let's say, Lee or Cyrus or Alex Absolute or myself, if you send the super chat, just say in the super chat it's for Lee or for Cyrus or for me. I think it will make it so much easier for you guys to get your questions answered from the correct guy on the panel. Yeah, as I said, welcome. We have a fun show for you guys today, so let's get this started, shall we? Hey, on all these channels, go ahead and click that like button because it helps us a lot right here on YouTube. Guys, I want to bring in the panel today. We've got a cracker panel. We are still waiting for one of the members, but he will come in real soon. But let's get up the panel, shall we? Let's see who we have today. We've got the awesome Lee from the Barrett channel in the stream.
Morning.
Can you say hi to us, Lee? And then obviously Cyrus. People has been asking for this guy on the show. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with Lee. We're going to do a 1-minute introduction and just say hi to the audience, and then we move. We're going to circle and go to Cyrus from there. Lee, take it away, brother.
Good morning, everybody. As you know, we've been traveling around quite a bit. I'm back in Shenzhen at the moment. Ollie is in Chengdu, and we were in Chongqing again earlier this week. And as you can see from some of our videos, we took a trip up to the Three Gorges down with Matt from Xiao Nation. We had a great time. Matt's got a couple of videos on his channel. Go check them out. We've released one, and so go check that out. We did a live stream from there, and we've got a second one coming next week. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. And good morning to everybody.
Awesome. Thank you, Lee. Always good to have you here. People love when Lee speaks. Everything just goes silent when Lee speaks, even the comments, to listen to him. Listen, let's bring up Cyrus. Cyrus is also a newcomer to the panel, but he made a cracking video earlier this week. And wow, did that one go viral? Tell us about it, Cyrus.
Absolutely. Well, welcome everybody to the show. So happy to have to be invited back on. It's always an honor for me to be with these gentlemen and to talk about something that we're all passionate about. Of course, that's China. And yeah, so this past week I launched a video talking about the truth about Michael Pompeo and China. And I think for anybody that follows my channel, one of the things I always preach is trying to find cooperation and common ground. I think the world wins when China and the United States work together. I'm from America. I'm originally from Orlando, Florida. I've been living abroad now for 13 years. 10 of these years have been spent in Greater China, both in Shanghai and in Hong Kong. So China is something that means a lot to me. And so, I just want to, try to be this bridge, between these two great countries. And, I'm not afraid to call out somebody like Secretary of State Michael Pompeo when he's just talking some nonsense, and I think, the reality is that the United States has benefited tremendously from a relationship with China. That needs to be, people need to understand that, that America is where it is because of China. So again, that's what we're doing. We're trying to build a world, and trying to help people better understand China. That's why we have this show. And guys, thank you so much for inviting me back on. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Awesome, awesome, Cyrus. Always good having you here. Hey guys, I'm gonna move to me. Yeah, I've been busy, as you guys saw. I had a stream. I do a lot of streams recently in the streets, and people tend to like them. So I've been doing my latest stream was on Wednesday, and we had a cracking time there. I think you guys saw that China is pretty much peaceful. You know, if you walk through these streets, you can see people are working. They are peaceful. They don't bother about nonsense. And I feel that is important to say, because if you look at other countries right now, they are too invested in politics, and they are too, you know, their minds are going wild with everything that is happening. The Chinese are staying focused. So if that's something you're into, come check me out tomorrow. I will do another live stream for you guys. Anyway, I think we can start today's show. So we're going to talk about ByteDance as a company, and also WeChat. Now, if you guys don't know what ByteDance is, this is a huge company, okay? It's a standalone company. It was created by a 29-year-old in an apartment. A normal apartment is where I'm living now. And this guy exploded. They created apps from news, apps to, to educational apps, all the way through to what we all got to know as TikTok. So these guys are huge. And obviously there's new happenings in America, and they want to force this TikTok application to be sold to an American company. So I just want to throw it out there. ByteDance is not your regular small tech company. These guys are huge. They are dominating the internet essentially. And as I said, it's a standalone company. A regular, normal 29-year-old started this company, and they went insanely big. So what I want to do is I want to start with Lee before we move on to WeChat and all of that. We're gonna keep it on ByteDance first. So I want to start with Lee. Lee, what is the issue now with ByteDance in America, and what is ByteDance essentially?
Okay, so ByteDance is the parent company of a couple of apps. One is called Douyin, which is the Chinese version of TikTok, and one is called TikTok, which is the international version. Now, these two apps, although they're from the same parent company, they run as completely separate apps. So I think Cyrus mentioned a week or two ago, and Cyrus is a bit more knowledgeable on the whole ByteDance and TikTok situation than I am. But I believe that if you're on Douyin, you can't access your users on TikTok and vice versa, because they run as completely separate platforms. Even to the point where the TikTok has got a separate CEO, they've got separate servers, which I believe are based in the USA and Singapore. Interestingly, I've been sort of following this story now. As you can see, and I'll talk a little bit more about this when we get to WeChat, but it seems to me that the USA are making very knee-jerk policies on this whole situation. And a couple of days ago, I read a report that even the CIA in the US confirmed that there's no evidence whatsoever of data going from the TikTok to the Chinese government. So this is the accusation from Trump and Pompeo that the Chinese might be stealing user data from TikTok. Now, what I also find absolutely bizarre about this is that, okay, TikTok have had some issues where they were collecting certain data that they shouldn't have been, and they've remedied that. But that's like all social platforms. You've only got to look at Facebook and the Cambridge Analytica scandal, and all the times they've sort of broken the rules to sort of track people and collect data that they shouldn't have been. But as I say, there's no evidence whatsoever that the Chinese government have collected any data. But what I find really funny is if the Chinese government did want to collect data on American citizens, which I'm sure they don't, but if they did, what would stop them going onto Facebook and LinkedIn and just scraping the data from there? Because most Americans are using those platforms. So this just sort of, I can't help thinking that, there was a big political rally with Trump recently, and there was a movement on
Yeah.
TikTok that bought up all the tickets. You know, I'm sure it's not, but I can't help thinking that's one of the reasons why he's now a bit pissed with TikTok, because he's that kind of person. You know, the slightest thing that upsets him, he flies off the handle and makes all sorts of rash decisions about things. So that's my take. But before I go, I just want to address this super chat quickly that's coming from Trevor Norman. And Trevor says, Trevor's a great supporter of my channel. I really appreciate him. He's got bad news for the USA if you need a VPN to use WeChat. It's how I speak to my Chinese family when I am in the UK. And it is kind of ironic that because of what Trump's doing, you know, they've always fired these bullets at China going, oh, you've got to use a VPN to do this, you've got to use a VPN to do that. And now it may be that the same is going to happen, where a lot of people in the US are going to have to use a VPN to access some of their favorite applications. So, you know, it's mad.
It is kind of ironic, you know, that Americans will stop use VPN. And sorry for me laughing that loud in your guys' ear.
No, that's
stream.
fine, man. It's
No worries.
But
it's quite
seriously so funny for me. It's such a bad move. You know, the funny thing before I move to Cyrus is everything you said is right, Lee. So anything and everything China does recently is considered as a security threat. And I think this is on purposely done because of the whole Hong Kong law, all right, the new law in Hong Kong. So they try to see everything now as a security threat, and, you know, or blame it on a security threat, and basically blame China for everything. Most probably the floods is a security threat. We don't know. But Cyrus, I'm gonna move over to you.
Yeah.
Can you please tell us? I have a serious question for you. TikTok is in I think they've got 40 days. It's now broken down to 7 days, I think.
Yeah.
They've got 7 days left. They need to make a decision if they're going to sell TikTok to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about it? Do you think it's a good idea? What's your take on this, buddy?
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to address a couple questions that we were having in the chat. So just to follow up on Lee, what he had mentioned is that it is true. TikTok and Douyin, which is the Chinese version, they are two separate platforms and servers. So that is correct. You cannot be on TikTok and look up a user in Douyin, and vice versa. That's really the unique thing about ByteDance. And as you know more about this company, it is a Beijing-based company that is the parent company, but they also have other video platforms. It's not just TikTok. Again, ByteDance is the parent company, but what they have really had from a mindset, from an early mindset, is that they wanted to be an international company. And so that's hence why they created the TikTok version. They have that office, you know, with an American CEO based in America. And, you know, they have really set themselves up, you know, to really dominate. And this is what we're seeing is, you know, because of the short video and how viral that TikTok has become, you know, it has been extremely lucrative for ByteDance, and they've been able to capture much more of the market, you know, with social media than even say Facebook, who, you know, obviously had a head start, you know, but for many years they didn't even monetize. You know, they weren't even monetizing in the beginning until obviously later, and now it's, you know, a very valuable company. But I think there's also a little bit of fear that, you know, that it could rival, you know, that it could certainly rival Facebook. One of the things that I know I'm active on Douyin, which is the Chinese version. And so I maintain a profile on there and upload videos in Chinese on that one. And it's interesting because one of the great things that they do on that is they do live stream, which is extremely popular, selling goods, products. That's been proven really great, really powerful, you know, for the ByteDance company to maximize the revenues. Interesting thing they also did is before COVID, they actually signed a deal with a Chinese movie producer, and they actually got the rights to stream one of these movies online. It was a popular one. I think it was called Made in Love in Russia, something like this.
Oh, wow.
It's not a popular movie in Western, but it was actually, I believe it was Made in Russia or Love in Russia Part 3. Anyways, it was the third in this series, and ByteDance paid something like $100 million to get the rights to be able to stream that video, you know, online. And I might be a little bit off in these numbers, but basically that was right before COVID happened. And COVID happened, and of course everybody's at home, everyone's got a lot of data, everyone's like, yeah, let's buy this movie. So I mean, they were able to just immediately, you know, have, you know, hundreds of millions of downloads and just make a tremendous amount of money. It was a great return on investment for them. So they're, you know, it's almost saying, you know, this could potentially rival a Netflix, You know, I mean, this is, you know, it's going to be maybe a net rival of Facebook and Netflix. But I mean, like you guys have said, you know, the United States is saying, look, this is a security threat. You know, that's almost the de facto answer now that we are. And one of the guys, you know, somebody brought up in the chat, you know, this was Thomas Scream, you know, he had mentioned Google, Apple, Amazon, and, you know, it's the fourth one that I'm forgetting. Microsoft, exactly. And anyways, all of these, not Microsoft. Anyways, all these tech companies, you know, I had it in my Pompeo video. They asked him point blank, you know, have you had China steal data? All of them said no. Point blank answer: they have not stolen any data, except Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, which he said, you know, Congressman, I do believe that it's well documented that China steals data. But yet he couldn't actually give a specific instance that Facebook is stealing data. So, sorry, I'm kind of I haven't answered your question. I just wanted to talk a little bit more.
That's fine.
You know, about TikTok. Now,
yeah, that's fine. So should they sell to Microsoft? What's your take on this?
I mean, I don't think they should sell. I hope that they at least fight it. You know, they said now that they're going to potentially sue the U.S. government and go down that legal action. I don't think that they're going to be successful, though. I mean, let's be honest. If the U.S. government's going to ban them, you know, they are going to ban them, and it's going to be a takeover. And I think, you know, unfortunately, I do believe if I had to make a call right now, I'd say eventually it will get sold because they've built something very profitable. They've built a great network, and it's almost, you know, they have the team in the U.S. I mean, Microsoft could acquire it. You know, I believe that they will sell it, but I think they should play hardball. I think I would definitely play hardball with Trump and countersue him and you know, try to fight it as long as I could.
I think.
Yeah, Lee, take it away.
Yeah,
give us.
I don't think they will sell, and the reason I don't think they will sell, obviously, the Chinese government are having you know, negotiating in this as well. Now, I know people will say, oh, look, you see, it's because it's owned by the Chinese government. But any company that big in any country, if they're being put under pressure by a government of another country, their home government will also get involved. You know, I've seen this many times in the UK with like British Steel or the car industry. So this doesn't mean that the government own TikTok or anything. But what my feeling is, and the noises I'm hearing here in China, and there's a big debate about this on Chinese social media too, is that if ByteDance sell to the American company, i.e. Microsoft, then it kind of sets a precedent into the USA then thinking, oh, if we bully any company enough, we can just force them to sell. And I think that is the reason why it won't happen, because I think it would set a precedent where the USA would then think, oh, well, we have the upper hand and maybe we can try and force, you know, Huawei to be sold to us, or, you know, Lenovo to be sold to us, or other, you know, potentially strategic tech companies to be sold. That's on the basis of, you know, they you know, forcing their arm, basically. So I think that's why it won't happen.
No, that's a good point.
Yeah. Sorry, I also think it won't happen. Look, do you guys know that the CEO of ByteDance was under serious fire here in China for Chinese people that told him do not sell, you know, to Americans, and so can you imagine this guy is under huge amounts of pressure right now, you know, regardless of what America is trying to do. And this is 100% trying to force them, bullying them to sell their company. This guy still stays polite. He still keeps his head on his shoulders. I can tell you, he will surprise us in the end. And this is Chinese culture. You think you push them in a corner by bullying them, and they come up with a better, smarter plan. Let that be a lesson for the Americans in the future. Cyrus, you wanted to say something on that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, I definitely hope that they fight this. I hope that they definitely, you know, and do this. And this is an interesting thing. I've got an interesting theory about this. in obviously we know the elections is, under 3 months away. It's a huge thing in America right now. And Trump is certainly, he needs that enemy, and he needs to say, look, this is why him and Pompeo are going down the road of blaming China for everything, because he needs to know, look, we're at war right now. We're at war with China. China's the enemy. He's going to, Pompeo is saying that he wants to go for 2024. Now, for Pompeo to be able to run in 2024 and to get that, he needs Trump to win to be reelected. Now, I think if TikTok plays hardball and they sue the government, I would love for them to just not sell. And what would happen is let's say it gets banned, that's going to be, tens of millions of millennials that would immediately find this impact. You see, when Huawei gets banned, that's not really a big deal. That's not going to affect the millennial generation in America. But if you start banning their social media network like TikTok, and all of a sudden that's a direct flag, hey, this could cause something, almost affect them, voting differently potentially, because they're like, hey, look at what Donald Trump's done. Now he's taken away my social media. That could be an interesting angle. Again, I hope that they do certainly play hardball and countersue and, drag it out as long as they can, before, if they do so. So that's my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's crazy, guys. Hey, listen, I want to know from one of you two, how big is this ByteDance company really? Because I don't think a lot of people know that ByteDance is a company. You just hear TikTok, you hear application names, but let's talk about ByteDance itself. How big is this really? Does anyone want to take this away?
I think Cyrus is probably better qualified.
Cyrus,
he knows a bit more about it, I think.
You know what? I have a graph that I'm trying to bring this up, but there's a really interesting graph that I shared in one of my videos talking about the amount of revenue generated from these startup companies after the year of founding. And anyways, it was Google, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, WeChat, and then ByteDance were the companies that were involved in that. And for most of these tech startups, right, they're not even getting much revenue, in the first 3 years. But essentially, ByteDance in year 7, they have more revenue generated in their year 7 than all of these other companies pretty much combined. So that's the thing that is quite amazing about ByteDance is it's I believe they valued the U.S. TikTok. I believe they put a market value of $50 billion as a market cap. So the potential is huge. It is a huge company, and again, it's not just TikTok that is the main thing. How they've been so successful is having these two ecosystems. It's almost like starting two Instagrams. You have a China version and an international version. Obviously, the China version is tremendously lucrative. There's 1.4 billion people. That's very profitable. But then you've now got the international version, and it's done so well for them as well. But anyways, they value just the U.S. version, just the TikTok in U.S. at $50 billion USD. My gosh,
that's huge.
I just got something.
Yeah, Lee, before you go on, I just want to put a QR code on the screen. Guys, if you do want to support the Let's Talk China show, please go ahead, scan this QR code and support us if you want. It helps us on the show, and yeah, we definitely get ourselves a bowl of noodles. So thank you so much for the ongoing support. This is the correct QR code. I was displaying the wrong one earlier. So if you want to support to the show, this is the correct one. Lee, you wanted to say something, buddy?
Yeah, this is not directly related to ByteDance or WeChat, but it sort of picks up on something you said, Jerry, where you said China are sort of more strategic. I was speaking to somebody who works at Huawei earlier this week, and I asked him, I says, look, tell me what the feeling is inside Huawei of the people there, because of, you're under, quite heavy attack from the US. And he says, well, as Chinese, we think long term, and we realize at this point in time we're being attacked, and there's not a massive amount we can do about it. He says, but it may be 2 or 3 years we're going to suffer from this, but he says in the long term we know that we will win through, because they have this mentality, you've got Trump left, right, and center. Something happens. Oh, let's sign off an executive order to stop that. You know, as I alluded to earlier, the TikTok thing. Maybe he just got a bit pissed off that you know, over that ticketing thing for his rally, and found out that was organized on TikTok. Oh yeah, quick, let's ban TikTok because they're against. Because what you need to realize with Trump, it's not about America or the people. It's all about him. And I think that's a very interesting thing. And Cyrus was saying it is a very interesting time. You know, I feel that China will sit it out as a minimum until after the next election before they start to make any moves. But it just shows you the thinking of the Chinese and the thinking of the government. They won't make, you know, a lot of people keep saying, oh, China should retaliate. China should retaliate. Maybe they should. However, I think they will retaliate very strategically. They won't make quick decisions. They're always looking at the much longer term. They're not looking at next month because they don't have this issue that they have to look good to be re-elected. So they make much more long-term strategic decisions. And I think that plays into a lot of the way China behave. I mean, they've behaved very, very sensibly so far. It's like China are the sort of adult, and they're dealing with Trump, who's behaving like a 2-year-old child, you know, and they must just laugh at him. You know, how ridiculous is this guy, you know, signing off these executive orders every 5 minutes when there's something he doesn't like, you know, and it's just not the way leaders of countries should behave, really.
Absolutely. I mean, you said the you know, you are the role model in your country, leading the country, and at this moment, I think, you know, my thoughts on this is I think Trump is doing this 100%. All of this he's doing just for his re-election. I think after his election, he'll calm down and he's going to change his tune on China. Remember my words, ladies and gentlemen. If he's been re-elected, he's going to start trying to make a deal with China because he loves business and he knows he needs China. Believe me on that.
Absolutely.
But listen, that is ByteDance. We are still waiting for maybe to put up a graph to show you guys. But I think we can continue by speaking. I want to ask the audience, how many of you actually know of ByteDance, the company? Because there's a lot of people that didn't even know ByteDance existed. They just hear the application name and think TikTok is that is it. But it's actually a cool company called ByteDance. So I want to know from the audience. Let's read some comments while we wait. Do you guys know ByteDance? Do you know what's your take as an audience on the TikTok issue? And there's super hot comments coming in. I want you guys to respond to them. But first, I think let's quickly look at. No, it's not that one. Let's quickly address this super sticker here. Thank you, Betty520, for that super sticker. Let's see. Do you guys see any fun? Oh, no. Is it this one, Cyrus? You want to see?
Sorry.
Is it this one you want to see, right?
Yeah, so this is a poll that I had on LinkedIn. Now, this is obviously a very small sample size, as you can see, only 619 votes. This was actually from a Chinese marketer that I know on LinkedIn, so a very good source. She follows all the China social media very close. I just thought it was an interesting poll. Again, it is a very small sample size, but I did want to just include it just to kind of see, out of 600 people that are always kind of talking about Chinese tech and that. I mean, you have roughly about half, 50% or so are thinking that they will sell to Microsoft to save their US app. Again, I don't know. I mean, I was just wanting to, just include this. I thought it was an interesting graph that I came across on LinkedIn, and we'll see.
Yeah,
that is crazy, Lee. Can we read this? Let's just read it out loud. So will ByteDance sell TikTok to Microsoft next week? A, yes, to save their US app. No, US will ban it. No, they will continue as it is. No matter, TikTok is doomed. So what will you vote there, Lee?
I would say C. Interestingly, I read a little article last night on somewhere. It was I'm actually trying to find it now, but I can't find it as we speak. Maybe I'll find it for later. But it said that basically 80% of the people that actually use TikTok in the US are not even bothered that it's owned by the Chinese. And this goes back to what Cyrus was saying, that, you know, there might be a backlash against Trump from a lot of these sort of younger users who use TikTok, because they'll see, I mean, you've got to bear in mind, there's a lot of young people who make a lot of money from TikTok in the USA.
Influencers and
yeah,
stuff like
they're
that,
all
right?
going to be cut off, you know, if Trump does what he's doing. But yeah,
100%.
this article was, you know, suggesting that a lot of these people are not bothered in the slightest that it's actually owned by China. You know, it seems to be a thing about the politicians and Trump and his little band of merry men that are the biggest problem here, not the actual users.
Listen,
No, that's-
Cyrus, can you take it away before you answer that? What will you vote on this poll?
Well, I mean, I did already mention, you know, I do, if I had to vote one, I mean, I do think that they will sell. I'd say A. I mean, and I hope I'm wrong, you know, and I hope that it is not something within next week. I hope that they fight this. And again, I'd like to see them really play hardball. I think what they could really do, like I mentioned earlier, I think they could really mess with the election, because you can upset a lot of millennials. And the interesting thing about this as well is, I don't know if you guys have realized, on Instagram, they have just launched their Reels feature, REELS, Reels. And that is you know, very similar. That's basically Instagram trying to make a very TikTok-like feature. And so that's
You don't mean a US company is copying something that China are doing, do you?
No, exactly. So it's hilarious, you know. So they copied that because they want to try to get people, you know, obviously a similar product, you know, and you know, hats off to Facebook, you know, who owns Instagram, saying, look, let's capitalize on this opportunity. But as we all know, you know, it's very difficult to, you know, when you're used to a product, and obviously you have your fan base on there, you know, they're not going to just jump over. And I think the features, it's just not the same. And people are like, you know what, this is just not going to work. I mean, it's not it. Now this is the graph that I was sending. I was able to find this just to give you an emphasis on the size. Now you can see all of these tech companies here, you know, Tencent, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, Google, obviously ByteDance. And, you know, we can look at this is from the founding date, you know, their amount of revenue. So again, you're looking at year 8.
I'm not seeing it, Cyrus. There we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're looking at ByteDance, is the black graph right there. And if you see, you know, here in year 8, you know, you can see their revenue is pretty much, you know, but more than all of the other ones combined. You know, so that just gives you an emphasis. You know, that just shows everybody a little bit how, you know, how dominant they really are, you know, and producing products that just really translate well. And I think that's one of the issues that we're seeing is, it's almost ironic. It's like a Chinese company has figured it out, you know, how to market better to Americans than, you know, Facebook and Twitter and Snapchat and, you know, Google and all this. And yeah, I mean, you look at Facebook, I mean, they're an amazing platform, right? And they've done tremendously well. However, you know, they've screwed up so many things. They tried to launch, you know, mobile payments. It's been a disaster. You know, the whole Libra thing with Zuckerberg, I mean, he failed. I mean, he's even said, geez, I should have been, you know, on these mobile payments a long time ago, and I should have learned from China, you know, and he admitted that he made a mistake there. You know, so yeah, they've done well. And obviously ad revenue is doing great for Facebook. They make a tremendous amount of money. But I think that you're, you know.
What is that, Lee? Let me just bring Lee up here.
This is that article I was talking about here. TikTok banned 83% of users don't care about the app's connection to the Chinese government. And it talks about how all these millennials and these younger people are not at all happy that Trump's potentially going to cut off their TikTok. And, you know, it talks about how, you know, many of these people make a reasonably good, either a good second income or their main income from TikTok, because as Cyrus will confirm, you know, if you get sort of 500,000 followers on TikTok, you can command some fairly decent revenue off advertisers to do sort of product videos and things like that. You know, you can earn a very good living from it, right?
Absolutely. And I don't know if you saw this as well, just to complement that, TikTok has announced that they are going to spend, I believe the number was $200 million on basically, rewarding influencers, for producing content, essentially giving them incentives, to, either sharing an ad revenue or giving them bonuses if they hit certain numbers. But they're essentially going to be, they're trying, obviously spending, throwing $200 million cash and divvying that up against some of the more popular influencers on TikTok. They're creating that brand loyalty, right? Instagram's not doing that, so I mean, this is another, I mean, that's a great counter strategy from TikTok, saying, look, let's keep these influencers engaged, because, I mean, all of us create, content on YouTube. I mean, we know what it's like to create content on a platform. And, if you're having, if TikTok is coming to me and saying, Cyrus, you're doing a great job, here's some bonuses, we want you to be loyal to our program. I'm not going to go do stuff on Instagram Reels,
Absolutely.
Of course not, right? I mean,
doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense, and so they're,
Listen, Cyrus, I want to stop you right there before we address this super chat. People don't really know this about you. I'm going to break the news.
Okay.
But you are actually pretty damn well known on the Chinese TikTok called Douyin.
Yes.
So you want to tell us a little bit about this before we address this super chat? We just wait for Lee to get back into the stream. But I think take it away. Tell us about your Douyin experience, because people don't really know it. But this man on this side of me is actually well known on Douyin, a Chinese TikTok. Take it away, buddy.
I appreciate the introduction there, buddy. I'm a little low key on the Douyin, but anyways, I made my first video on Douyin in last November, and my handle on there is 文革话老外, which means Vancouver foreigner, directly translated, 文革话老外. And so so anyways, that's kind of my trademark here, and it's been a lot of fun creating that. And what I make videos in Mandarin, and I put them on there, and we talk about everything from, just cultural differences between, Western culture to Chinese culture. One of my videos that did really well was I was telling everybody my story about how I got my Chinese name. And my first Chinese name was actually similar to my English name, Cyrus. It was Cyrus. And, that's a very, it's not a very good Chinese name. So anyways, after I got married, I told the story that I got married and I took my wife's name. And I said, her last name is Wang, so now my Chinese name is Wang Dezhong. It's the same de and 德国的的, 中国的中. And I always say it's, Wang Dezhong. 我太太姓王, 叫德国的的, and then 中国的中, so I just love, these characters. So anyways, I told this story and everyone was laughing at me because they're like, I can't believe you had to take your wife's name. Like you had to take Wang, like usually it's the other way around. And it went viral, and it was quite funny because I didn't really I actually didn't record the video to be comedy. I just was like, this is how I got my Chinese name, and then like it just blew up. Everyone's kind of making fun of me because it's like, oh, you got your wife made you to the name. I'm like, well, actually my wife's Chinese, so I mean, after we get married, like I'm going to take her Chinese name. It's not like my official name. I mean, my last name's still Janssen, but it's my Chinese name, which I use in business and everything. And so, anyways, it's been a lot of fun. And, I've also addressed some of the issues, like with, COVID-19, when the coronavirus went, when the outbreak happened in Wuhan, I was just sending a lot of, videos saying, look, China, you guys are in this, let's buckle down, let's get through this, and just kind of sending messages of encouragement and things like that. So it's just been a great way for me to stay connected in China, see the trends, talk about that network, because I'm in that network. I'm an influencer on there, have around 300,000 followers on Douyin. So I enjoy making content on there, and just again, like my mission, trying to promote, us coming together, cooperation.
Absolutely. We will go check you out, definitely. That sounds interesting. I want to ask Lee. Lee, can you address this super chat for us? It says, how would you advise people who want to learn more about China without having to refer to American media? I think Lee is the person who can answer that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best way is actually travel there and see for yourself. But if you can't do that, what I would say is have a look around YouTube, pick some people. There'll be some people that show a negative side, There'll be some people that show a positive side. And then you look at these and you look at the people, look at where they are, because obviously there's a couple of large YouTubers out there who profess to be experts on China that haven't actually been in China for more than 2.5 years. So you need to take that into account as well. There's at least 10 or 12 YouTubers here that I know of. So there's ourselves, there's Jerry, there's 60, there's Matt at Geo Nation, there's Alex Reporterfy Media, there's who else is the Jerry? Help me out here.
Oh, we've got Cyrus himself.
Yeah.
Cyrus himself. Yeah, I think
there's a lot of people who've spent time in China. Nico. But there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who've either spent a lot of time in China who are actually here in China, like me and Jerry at the moment,
right.
and Guelo and Xiao. And we actually do live streams. Jerry's got loads of good live streams where he just goes out every day and shows you normal life, where he is, what he's doing. And you can see for yourself, we don't need to make up stories or push things. This is our life. This is what we see. This is what we do. So just look at some of those people and make an overall opinion for yourself, but certainly don't listen to the biased Western media.
Yeah, Lee, I think you are spot on with that. People need to come here to see for themselves. I see it as Americans in America. They watch, let's say, Fox News and they watch CNN, right? The smart people in America will watch MSNBC, Fox News, CNN, all these news networks, and they will find a common ground for themselves. They will draw their own conclusions. And I think that's also very important to do. Like Lee said, follow some YouTubers that are currently living in China, that are on the ground, and watch the people that you normally watch, and then you make up your own mind. Essentially, we don't want to force people into some sort of a narrative. We just show the truth, and I think it's very important to come check it out. Stick around on our channels, make up your own mind. So yeah, that's for Mr. Lee. Listen, guys, I want to move on to the WeChat part because I think we have a lot to speak about on the WeChat part. Excuse me. So what I want to do is I want to start with Cyrus now. Cyrus, how important is WeChat for you? Because man, WeChat for me is super important. I work with WeChat. I pay everything with WeChat. Listen to this. I even paid my baby that will come in 2 months. I paid the delivery fees and hospital fees already from my WeChat.
Yeah.
So WeChat is pretty much invested in my life. But take it away, Cyrus. Tell us how important WeChat really is.
Well, I think the best way to answer that question is to quote one of the WeChat founders when he said, "WeChat is not an app; it's a way of life." And I believe that is how you see WeChat in today's world, especially in China. I think we have that graph on there. Could you bring that graph up?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So this is just a little WhatsApp versus WeChat, and you can see, obviously, what's amazing is in the West, everyone is using WhatsApp, but even in Hong Kong, for instance, they use WhatsApp instead of WeChat. And it was always funny for me when I was living in Shanghai for many years, and then I moved to Hong Kong. I would always ask for the people's WeChat, and they're like, I don't have WeChat, we use WhatsApp because it's kind of like, it's from America. And I'm like, geez, you're really limiting yourself. Look at all these amazing things that WeChat can do. And it's so much better. But as you can see, you have the payments in general, right? All of your utility bills, credit cards, your virtual wallets. But it's your Uber, it's your bank account, it's your movie tickets, you're splitting your restaurant, movie theaters. it's kind of everything.
It's your life, as you said.
It really is. And that's what I say. It's a lifestyle. So now what's interesting is I'm in Canada right now. And one of the businesses that I have here is I have a consulting firm and a marketing company. And what we do is we actually help Canadian retailers establish themselves on WeChat and Alipay and start WeChat official accounts. And it's been amazing here because we have, over 50 different retailers that we work with now, everybody from, kindergartens to dentist office to, golf courses to everywhere that has a lot of Chinese traffic. They are, loving the convenience of this. And it really is helping Canadian businesses, establish that link with these Chinese consumers here. So, I personally, I use it every single day. Absolutely. And I mean, even for stuff as well, when my wife and I, we have a business in China, and when if we want to get our money out of China, it's like an easy way is we can go to a supermarket here that takes WeChat Pay. We can be paying for goods from our accounts in China, and the merchants here are receiving Canadian dollar, and that's an amazing feature for WeChat Pay.
Dude, that's so amazing. I totally get what Cyrus is saying, and I think Lee is burning down there to give his 2 cents on this. But listen, before you go on, Lee, I just want to say, guys, do remember super chats will be answered. We have a QR code. I will bring it up real soon. If you want to support the show, let's continue talking about WeChat. And you, the audience, drop us your messages in the side chat. We love to read those. Lee, take it away. What is WeChat for you?
Okay, so I'm just going to do a couple of super chats before I start. So Trevor Norman, the biggest threat to any national security is Facebook, Google, etc., not Chinese apps. Now, I can sort of see that. You've only got to look at what Edward Snowden information came out with a few years ago, that the NSA had got sort of direct access to a lot of servers of these tech companies in the US. And as I mentioned before, even the CIA has said that there's no evidence that the Chinese authorities have taken data from TikTok. And we have a super chat here from Matt at JO Nation. He says, JO guys, watch our Chongqing videos, guys. We all have some great ones coming up, as well as published. Jerry, your audio is boss on the stream, so all good. Okay, let me talk about WeChat now. As far as I'm aware, this executive order that has been signed by our president of the US, Donald Trump, is not just WeChat. It's been signed to try to, hobble the parent company. Now, the parent company of WeChat is a company called Tencent. Right. And Tencent are a huge company. Now, this sort of executive order that's been signed, it's actually very broad, and potentially it could stop American companies doing any business with the parent company, Tencent. Now, this has massive implications, because I don't know whether you know this as users, but just to give you one example, Tencent own the rights to a huge amount of music artists. Okay, and it's not just one or two. There's a whole massive catalog. They have interests. They have a massive interest in Blizzard games, which are one of the World of Warcraft, all this. So if Trump, in his wisdom, bans American companies from dealing with the parent company of WeChat, which is Tencent, the implications are just huge. So let's just take another little part of this. So there's a number of American companies operating in China. There's a fairly big one that sells coffee called Starbucks. There's also a big grocery supermarket chain called Walmart. Okay. Then you've got Apple, who sell fair few phones in China, right? I believe in the last accounts, it accounted for 15% of their revenue. Now, I can tell you, if Starbucks and Walmart are forbidden as American companies from taking payments in China on WeChat, their business is doomed. And it's the same as Apple. If Chinese people are not going to buy an iPhone if they can't install WeChat on it. I have never come across a Chinese person who has a phone who doesn't have WeChat. WeChat here is your life, you know, and they are just not, if you can't get a phone, if you have a phone like an Apple phone and WeChat is not available on that phone, Chinese people will not buy that phone, and they won't go to Starbucks if they can't pay by WeChat, and they won't go to Walmart either. WeChat is a massive payment system.
I think Apple is scared right now, Lee. Apple is scared. They are so scared that the Chinese people will stop by their phones, let me tell you that. And I think that they are busy fighting against this thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there was a conference call with the White House staff last week, and 12 companies were involved, and Walmart and Apple were two of those companies that were involved in that call. And they were trying to basically, as far as I understand, persuade the White House not to continue with this thing because it will have massive implications on America. And this is exactly what Trump does, you see. He makes these decisions without considering the wider implications because it's all very knee-jerk, it's all very selfish, it's all about me, you know, getting re-elected. So he doesn't consider the wider implications of some of the things he says and does. And I think that's very dangerous when you're a leader of one of the most powerfulest countries in the world.
Absolutely. Guys, listen, I've got our other panel member on here right now, and I think it's time we say hello to him. Ladies and gentlemen watching us right now, we are basically 800 people watching the stream. Do remember to go hit the like button on all the channels. But listen, we've got Alex Absolute back, and I'm going to bring him in. I think you guys have been waiting for him. Alex was busy in Chongqing, and he's back. He's here to serve you guys. And I'm going to start off by asking the man a question. Alex, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Other than it being 9 o'clock odd in the morning, I'm dandy. Great.
Awesome.
Lee, I see you saved especially for this morning's event.
Listen, Alex, people were asking, where the hell have you been? We're going to go to the Chongqing thing real soon, but I want to start off. We are busy talking about WeChat, so I'm going to bombard you with a question.
Yeah.
What is the most odd thing that you've ever bought with your WeChat ID, your WeChat application? Something that you bought that's really odd.
I bought a lizard and a turtle once when I was at a country fair.
Yeah. I wanted to say I bought a dog. Yeah.
That was kind of interesting. I bought all sorts of weird stuff. I buy most of the weird stuff off Taobao. Taobao's like slightly more where I would buy something strange from because there's a whole you're tapped into like a wider sea of potential for buying it. WeChat Pay is something I use for JD. But JD, I don't really use as much. JD's good for electronics items, but I guess the turtle and the lizard. I bought those because going back a few years, it used to be slightly more unchecked here in Wenzhou, and you could buy all sorts of things. I know somebody who bought was it a Cayman crocodile for 300 RMB, like a baby one.
Are you serious?
Same place I bought the lizard.
Wow!
So you could buy all sorts of crazy stuff. China's great for
Alex,
that kind of stuff.
How important is WeChat for you, buddy? How important is it for your life? I want to ask you. You are in the workplace right now. That's where you're streaming from. Do you guys use it? Do you guys use it in your workplace? And how important is WeChat in your life, bro?
I mean, WeChat is everywhere here. Like, for example, in England, you don't get grandmas that have phones per se. They might have like the old classic house phone because it's not like a smartphone's not from their era. But here, my wife's grandma, who is 95, has WeChat on her phone. She can't see it very well, but she can still use it. And her other grandma, who's like 80 something, also uses it all the time. And she uses like all the features, like sending pictures, locations, all sorts of stuff. And like for life, I don't know how useful for outside of China, it might not be as useful as it is here because I guess a lot of the features don't work the same. Maybe, I'm not sure. I've never really used it outside of China, but here it's basically everything. You use it for locations, you use it for sending money, use it for paying for stuff, you use it for news. It's like a one-stop shop for everything. It's incorporated everything in there. It's like you've got all of the social media apps of the West and just jammed them into one.
Exactly. And you brought up a very important point there. You said you don't know how effective it is in other countries. I want to bring up a graph, and I want Cyrus to comment on this. Right? A lot of people don't really know WeChat. That is why we do the stream, just to try and tell them how we live with WeChat. Like Cyrus said, it's not a tool; it's a lifestyle, basically.
Yeah.
But I want to bring up a graph, and Cyrus, can you comment on this for us, please, buddy?
Absolutely. Yeah. So this is something that I do directly with is just helping, merchants and tourism agencies and basically all over, you can see this. This is where you can pay with China's mobile payment system, WeChat Pay and Alipay. And what they do is you can see they're in 60 countries around the world. Now, it's amazing when you go to Europe now, and you're getting your tax refund, for Chinese nationals, they can go to, simply just have the refund, done directly back onto their WeChat account. So it's an instant refund right back to their WeChat account. When we're, here in North America, both in the United States and Canada, WeChat and Alipay is run by a lot of big stores. Your Nikes, your, all of these, all your tourism things like that, Disneylands, things like that, where you're going to have a lot of international visitors. You're trying to capitalize on that market. Side story, about a year ago, my wife and I, we were in Las Vegas, and it was amazing because we're walking through and we went to the Nike store, there at the outlet, very big Nike store. And the lady was actually, there was a Chinese lady that was working there, and she saw my wife and she's just said, "Oh, are you Chinese?" And she's like, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, great. Why don't you scan this WeChat? We have a WeChat promotion. Basically, you're going to get, like, if you scan this with your WeChat account, you're going to get $10 off of a purchase of 50, and it's a huge discount." But it was amazing because no one else is getting that. I mean, if you don't have WeChat, you're not getting that promotion. And so it's very lucrative, for them to be running these type of deals, because obviously giving you $10 off a purchase of 50 is not a big thing, but who's going to go into Nike and buy $50 worth of stuff? You're obviously going to buy a lot more than that. And they know their market. They know that the Chinese clients are coming to the outlets in Las Vegas. They're going to drop a lot of money. But it was amazing to be in Las Vegas and see where all of these, WeChat promotions and how many vendors are accepting WeChat, because we mentioned this in a couple of shows ago. What is China's best export? Tourists, right? And so that is how. And this graph is a great one because it shows everybody, where WeChat and Alipay are all over the world, and they really are helping, make that connection, because China does have a tremendous amount of tourists and is helping local businesses all over the world connect, make more revenue. It's a win-win.
Absolutely. This is interesting. Lee,
I have one question though, quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I know that there's a lot of times when it's stated you can use WeChat and Alipay in other countries or other places, and then you go there and it's actually only Chinese nationals which can, and not foreigners. For example, I went to, it's still in China, it's still to Hong Kong, but I went to Hong Kong because my wife said, "Oh, no worry, you don't need to take any money. Like, you could just use your Alipay and your WeChat there." And then when I got there, after 25 minutes of swearing and scanning and swearing and scanning, and like really getting to the end of my tether, it turns out only Chinese nationals can use Alipay and WeChat in Hong Kong. Is it like that in the rest of the world, or is it just the Hong Kong thing?
No, that's a good question, and it is restricted to Chinese nationals. That's right. So foreigners like ourselves that have WeChat on the phone, obviously the WeChat Pay feature, you're not able to do that. I believe that you can. No, you're right. No, I've done that because I've tried to do that here in Canada and in the United States as well. Even if, for instance, I would have money in my account, let's say I have 1,000 RMB sitting in my WeChat Pay, it wouldn't do the transaction. So it is limited to Chinese nationals. That's correct.
Listen, guys. Hey, listen, you, the audience, can use your WeChat right now, and there's a QR code on the screen. So
brilliant segue.
if you want to try it out, you scan this QR code and you support that show. Go ahead and do it right now. Thank you very much. Let's continue this talk. That was a great question, Alex. Lee, do you wanna weigh in on that graph?
Okay. So do you want me to mime for him?
Yeah. Listen, okay, let's wait for Lee to get back real quick. Listen, Alex, you are just back on the show. We're going to move into another segment, right? We're going to move into another segment right now where we're going to talk about Chongqing. And man, you've been busy like crazy over there. You and Matt Gio Nation. And I believe Lee was there also just now. Again, for a second or third time already. So we're going to talk all about that, but let's close this off real quick about WeChat. I believe, I'm going to start with me. I believe WeChat is the wheel of China right now. If it gets to living easily, convenience. Guys, I had a stream, I think 5 days ago, where I went to the International Beer Festival. And I pay with my WeChat QR code everywhere. And I had to pay a deposit to get a beer glass. And when I returned the beer glass, they gave me a note, a 50 RMB note back. And I was like, what the hell is this? I haven't seen this like in 3 years. I was so stunned. Like, look at this 50 RMB note. For me, for me, I don't even know how cash looks like anymore. I can't see myself travel around the world and not use WeChat. It's too easy for me. I'm too used to it. So my 2 cents is WeChat is seriously the best creation ever, the best social media, everything app out there in the world, and I support WeChat to the fullest. Even
money
if
is
Apple
inherently dirty.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
there we go.
If
It's
you've
even
been
a safety
handling cash, you
precaution.
need to wash your hands. It's if you don't need to do that with WeChat, eh?
Absolutely. Look, I make my stance right here. I stand with WeChat. If it means I need to change from iPhone to another phone, so be it. But WeChat I keep. Let's move on to Cyrus. Cyrus, what's your final take on WeChat?
Oh, I mean, WeChat is one of the most incredible apps that have ever been created, and it's incredible how just convenient it is because they've been able to incorporate all of the other ones, right? Like Didi is now in Didi Chuxing to get your taxis. It's right there in the WeChat app. It's incredibly convenient and everything. I mean, it is such an amazing lifestyle. For people in China, and it really is truly amazing because it's far superior than anything anywhere else in the world. So, I mean, I love WeChat as well. I use it for business every day. WeChat's a big part of our business here in Canada, and I want to continue seeing this because we saw Apple, Ford, General Motors, Walmart, all of these companies are pushing back against Trump, saying no. WeChat, if you get rid of that, it's going to severely affect, our business. And like, Barrett had said, Lee had said, is that, look, Donald Trump just seems to be making decisions, without realizing that he's actually hurting America, make America great again, but let's go ahead and destroy these connections and these relationships that we've been building for decades and all the groundwork that American companies have been putting down. That's not how you do it. That's not going to help America. So definitely full support WeChat.
Absolutely. Lee, take it away. What's your final thought on WeChat?
Yeah, just to quickly address super chat of Arthur Larson.
Lee, I think
very quiet.
I think there's something wrong with your audio, mate.
Is that?
You got it. If you got it on Phantom Power, you got the Phantom Power button pushed in.
Let me just quickly check here.
While we wait for Lee to sort that out, let's quickly see. Alex, what's your final thought on WeChat, buddy?
Well, there's obviously WeChat. The 2 apps that they're on about at the minute. TikTok, TikTok for me, I'm like, meh. Probably if you're gonna ban that in America, probably saving American people from like 2,000 videos of people lip syncing to Britney Spears songs. No big deal. Don't really care, if I'm honest. But WeChat is literally it's the lifeblood of like China and Chinese people abroad and overseas. It's not like where I said I don't know how useful it would be or how it would interact like overseas. That was in the kind of perspective of me. But for people like, I have a friend, his wife is Chinese. They come from Anhui she comes from Anhui province, and she uses WeChat all the time to talk to her family back home, like almost daily. And like I use WeChat to contact a lot of my friends that have gone back home. People use it for communication between China and here, as well as the payment thing. So you're literally taking away families' communication routes and then forcing them to use like really crap apps like WhatsApp. Never really got into WhatsApp. Don't like it at all. Facebook. Facebook seems like
it's over now. Come on, be honest. It's over
it's
now.
Okay. It just seems kind of like I think WeChat is a one-stop shop for everything. China loves convenience. They love convenient stuff, and WeChat like has hit the nail on the head. There's nothing quite like WeChat, and I think it's just kind of mean, like to involve the people that would want to communicate with family and friends back home via WeChat and do everything via WeChat just because of a spat between 2 countries, which is political. It's not like a ground level thing, but the implications of what they're doing will affect like far wider. It will affect people that like your everyday people on the ground, and it's kind of off. Bad taste.
Get you. I totally agree on that one. Let's see if Lee's back on. Lee,
Guys,
let's get Lee. Let's get
That's
Lee
you.
on. Yeah, let's
is
get Lee on.
my audio back, guys?
There
Yep.
we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Lee,
There
give
we
us
go.
your
Okay, so
final thought on WeChat. But first, your super chat.
Okay, yeah. So just Arthur Larson makes a good point that GM, General Motors, sold more vehicles in China than the US now. And they were one of the companies that were kind of lobbying about the WeChat. But what I think what's important to understand about WeChat, it is not just an app, it's actually a platform. So within the WeChat platform, there are literally hundreds, if not thousands, of other apps that run in that. So you can get on and off the metro using it, you can get on and off the bus. And once you have a WeChat account, it's very then easy to sign up for these apps, like many stores, many food delivery companies, as I say, transport, buying tickets. And you can now even get e-train tickets through the WeChat app. So previously, if you were a foreigner and you booked a train ticket, you had to then go to the station, wait at the window to collect your ticket. You don't have to do that anymore. You can book it through the WeChat Trains app, and you can get an e-ticket through the WeChat platform, which is a great thing. So yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, if you have a phone in China, you have WeChat on there. You know, no WeChat, and you're going to buy another phone. Simple as that.
Easy as that. So you also stand with WeChat. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. This is the time where I'm going to let you guys call in and talk to us. It's your chance to become part of the panel. Talk to Alex Absolute there in the corner, Lee Barrett here in the other corner, Cyrus up here, or you can talk to all of us at once. We are busy talking about ByteDance as a company, but mainly focused on WeChat as an app, because my God, this is amazing. So while I say this, please just check out this QR code if you want. Go ahead, use your WeChat, scan this QR code if you want to support the channel. We do appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I want to
need a small team.
I was waiting for that one. Listen, I want to say thank you to Jade in Sit. I think that's how you say the name, for becoming a new member on my channel. Guys, you can do so by clicking the blue button next to my subscribe button. Jade, thank you. I do appreciate it. Listen, guys, we're going to drop a link in the side chat that you can call in and become part of our panel. How it works is I'm going to drop the link in the side chat right now. You click on it. It will bring you to the studio, and you will talk to Wesley backstage. You need to show your face. Keep your clothes on, please. Show your face and just tell him who you are, and he will bring you onto the show. We are talking WeChat. Tell us what you think about it. So while we wait, guys, is there anything else you wanna cover about WeChat, Cyrus?
Is it entirely WeChat related questions, or can it be question? Can they ask us anything? I remember once.
The live call-ins is anything. They can ask us anything China related. Look, don't
I remember once the Barrett, what the Barretts have for breakfast came up. That was a solid question, right?
I'm eating a cinnamon roll for breakfast.
Proper.
And I'll just quickly address another super chat from Arthur Larson. He says, does any other chat app have inline translation? And then there's another one in from Fat KY. Appreciate that. US companies already made hundreds of billions in China in the last 30 years, maybe more. China has just begun to compete in America, and Trump freaks out. Yeah, well, I'd agree with that. I think one of the reasons why there's this massive anti-China sentiment is because within the last few years, China has now become a serious competitor to the USA when they were not a competitor, and America was using them to manufacture all their stuff incidentally, so American companies could make much bigger profits than they previously were. Everything was hunky-dory. But now a lot of those, certainly technology companies, and Alex might talk about this when he was in Chongqing, because he went to this sort of technology place, which is really pretty cool. You know,
mind blowing.
Yeah, they have caught up, and in some areas now they've overtaken the US in technology, and that is scaring the wits out of America because they've always been dominant and they're losing that dominance. And I think that's why you're seeing this massive anti-China sentiment now, because they have a competitor who, and incidentally, you know, previously when America have not been happy with countries, what have they done? Oh, let's go and invade them and we'll try and change the government. And if you listen to what Pompeo's saying, you know, what people don't understand, okay, there are about 1 in 15 people in China, adults in China, maybe slightly more than that, but about 1 in 15 are members of the Chinese government, the Communist Party. So where Pompeo goes, oh, we need to turn the Chinese people against the government. What a lot of people don't understand is in China, people see the people are the government. The government and the people are one. They're not these two separate entities. It's not us and them. Honestly, Chinese culture see them and the government as one entity.
A lot of people don't get that one, Lee. Listen, guys, we have a caller on the line. I'm going to bring him up, but first, there's a question for Cyrus. This super chat is directed for Cyrus. A question for Cyrus. Give your knowledge of China. How exactly do business operate in China? How do businesses like WeChat, etc., differ from the US?
Yeah, so
Cyrus, take it away.
Sure, absolutely. So thank you, Mr. Lee, for that super chat. And then also just want to get a thank you to Norman Tan as well. Good Life, I'm just going to address these first. Good Life sent in a super chat talking about Kim Iverson. I've seen her videos. She's done some very good stuff. Very a big fan of her. Definitely would like to talk to her at some point. So yeah, talking about business, I'd asked Mr. Lee another one. He was talking about, for instance, like how do LLCs, limited liability companies, when they're coming into China. I think the most important thing is you need to have a Chinese representative. Like you have to have somebody on the ground in China, somebody that has that is working in China, that has connections to the government. And so that's an important thing. For instance, like if you're Disneyland, for example, and they wanted to open the Shanghai Disney, Shanghai Disney, that's 50% owned by the Chinese government. It's a joint venture between the two. They're not going to allow to say, an American company like Disney to just come in and build a theme park and own it completely. It is always this joint venture, in that. As far as, how do businesses like WeChat differ from the US? I'd say they're just a little bit more advanced. I think when you look at WeChat, WeChat, we always think of, WeChat, of course, is an app. And as part of the parent company, Tencent. Now, Tencent is actually, they produce a tremendous amount of revenue from gaming. WeChat is a very small element of that. They make a lot of money from gaming, from cloud, and they're investing in a tremendous amount of other things as well. They invest in a lot of, e-commerce platforms. And, so it's really a conglomerate of a lot of things. But I think the thing that I've seen is, this is what's funny when we're talking about that China stealing tech from the US. It's actually the opposite. I think in many ways, the U.S. needs to steal from China because China is much faster and more dynamic than the United States.
Absolutely.
That is the biggest thing. One of the things I don't know if you noticed with Airbnb a few years ago. Airbnb, of course, is a platform where you book a hotel room, essentially, right?
Right.
And then they launched this Airbnb experiences where you could, if I'm going to Tokyo, I can, book the hotel and a walking tour at the same time. You can have an Airbnb experience. Well, Airbnb copied that directly from China. C-Trip was doing that. And I mean, they were doing that for years. And so the C-Trip CEO was just laughing when it's like, oh, you guys are going to launch this experience.
I actually did not know that. That's quite interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so funny. Like, I mean, and then it's just like, well, we've just launched this new thing called Airbnb experiences, and it's like, yeah, we've basically been doing that for 3-4 years now. I
actually have a funny story about this as well.
Yeah.
Recently, somebody put it was like a clip of a news story, not a meme, but it was a clip of a news story, and it showed a UPS kind of like backed electric bike and it said UPS, the first country in the world, like the first company in the world to ever do last mile delivery that's eco-friendly on electric bikes. And I was just like, what? Like literally all of the kuaitis in China for the last however long have been delivered on electric bikes. Like, what are you saying? Like, that's a blatant lie. Like, I really, yeah. There's just no words for that. Absolutely none. And going back to what Cyrus said, was saying about China being a technology leader in many fields. I think for technology as a whole, it's pretty much streets above anything else. The country as a whole, like if I go back to England, like the Wi-Fi situation, if I go back there with my Chinese phone and I have to rely on Wi-Fi, you're pretty much out at sea without a panel. Whereas in China, there is Wi-Fi even like people that like have these tiny little like nail type, like tiny thin shops have free Wi-Fi. Beggars, people that are asking for money have WeChat codes. That's another one for WeChat, right? Sorry, you can't use that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I don't carry any change on me anymore because they're like, scan the code.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, dude. Like I always say, if I go back to my country, it's like going back into the 60s, man. Seriously, you can't understand China's futuristic living style.
Talking about SA, Jerry, when I went back, I took my wife back in for our honeymoon because obviously I have a lot of family over in South Africa and my uncles and aunts. And I thought we'll go up to Table Mountain. And the guy that was running the cable car going up to the top of Table Mountain was speaking, like African guy, just speaking perfect Chinese with all of the Chinese tourists which were in the cable car. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Listen, guys, I have a surprise for you. We have our first caller on the line. There's actually a lot of people, but time is busy catching us today, audience. So I'm going to drop the link one more time in the side chat. If you want to call in, do so now. We have a caller on the line, and I'm going to bring him up right now. His name is MJ. MJ, can you hear us, buddy?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Hi guys, hi to Jerry, hi to all of you guys are awesome. You guys are doing an amazing job bringing the true side of China to the world. Been a fan of every single channel. I watch all your videos, and I'm also patron to some of you guys. Thank you so much for all the work you guys do. I feel what is happening globally right now is damaging on one front, because for the last 3 years, China has been at the very forefront of technology and scientific development, not just in electronics, but also in medical sciences. Today, HIV is not a problem anymore, primarily because of the contributions made by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, that today HIV is almost a non-existent problem and is expected to get solved completely in the next 4 to 5 years. And this was primarily a Chinese contribution in biomedicine. In multiple fields, if you look at all the scientific research that is getting published, the largest amount of research is now not by the Ivy League institutions, but by Chinese Academy of Sciences, by Tsinghua University, and Peking. So this American Western-led propaganda is doing great disservice to scientific community by undermining the great amount of work that they are doing, and rebuilding this constant narrative of China just stealing stuff, whereas they are at the forefront of whether it is patent filing, whether it is 5G technology, whether it is initial work on 6G technology, whether it is artificial intelligence, everything, all this work. And even in biomedicine, whether it is work on HIV, whether it is work on new treatments of cancer, and also new surgical procedures on the biomedicine side, where China 5G is supposed to take us to that next level. So I think it's very important for you guys to start showing the world that there is another side to this story. It is not all big bad China out there. Otherwise, we in the rest of the world may not realize what is happening, how world is moving forward, and how we are being left out. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Wow, MJ, that is super cool.
That
Guys,
is
do you want to
really
respond to
interesting
MJ?
comment.
I am stunned. Thank you so
I
much.
can't hear any of you.
Yeah.
That's pretty
I'll
awesome.
sort
I
of
never knew that.
I'll sort of putting it. That is very, very interesting, MJ. I wasn't aware of some of that. And what's interesting here is, are you from India, can I ask? MJ, are you from India? Can MJ hear me?
MJ, can you hear us?
Maybe he's not paying attention.
Yes, I'm from India, but I work for an American tech firm.
Okay, because what's interesting, I see that there's, in America.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, America are trying very hard to sort of get India to be also kind of negative against China. And it's interesting that you say how much China have contributed to biomedicine and continue, but both in monetary terms and in scientific terms. And a lot of that I was not aware of. So that's really interesting. And I worry that India are moving closer and closer to the USA stance on China. And I do have some good friends in India, in Kerala. And they also sort of talk that they're technology based, and they also talk about they're marveled how fast China has moved in technology, where they feel India has not sort of moved that same way, because they tend to be siding with the US more and more.
Yeah, I agree. Do you guys want to respond to MJ's comment there? Because I think it's fantastic. MJ, from my side, I want to say thank you so much for coming on. And seriously, dude, Alex, take it away.
I don't really have much to say, because I don't really like what he was saying about the medical science. I don't really have any prior knowledge, but it's amazing to hear that something that's been as bad as stuff like as bad as HIV has, that it's finally the end is in sight, and that it could be a problem which is no longer an issue. That's mind blowing. I actually didn't think that would be like possible within the next 10, 15, 20 years. So if to hear that is pretty amazing. I don't know if MJ can give us some places where we can find out more about this, or like some sites or something, but that's super cool. That's super positive, good news. So it's fantastic.
So if I can,
Awesome. Thank you.
yeah,
No, just fantastic. Very similar to what Lee had said.
I gave the example.
Go ahead.
I gave the example of HIV because.
Yes, you can go ahead, MJ.
It's like a game of chicken.
HIV. We all, as a global community, were trying to fight against it for over a decade, for decades together. But we were not moving forward.
All right. I get you, MJ. Cyrus, do you want to say?
And when China comes up with solutions and now eradicates HIV, there is no mention of it in the media.
That's. I mean,
very interested.
I'll add something to that. Is something that I first of all, thank you, MJ, for coming on. Great insights. I mean, again, like Lee had said, a lot of those things I wasn't aware of either. So it's great to hear from you and to bring that attention to us. And like you mentioned that, a lot of we don't hear these positive things from China. And that is something, there's a lot of great things that are coming out of China. Again, China's not perfect. We're not saying that. We're not saying it's this utopia, but there are positive things that are happening in China, and we need to have more stories like this, because, man, if you only listen to Western media, you would think China is the worst place in the world. But we know it's not true, because you can talk to the Chinese people in China and abroad. And that's one of the things that's funny, here is so many people here in Canada, I've had people saying, look, Chinese people are desperate to leave their country. That's why they've obviously immigrated here. It's like, well, no, actually,
they want to run away.
Yeah, they want to. I mean, Chinese people go abroad because they have the opportunity to, and there's other places in the world. That's why there's expats. I mean, we're expats. I mean, just because doesn't mean we don't love our home country and we're desperate to get away. But that's how expats and how our international world works. But it doesn't mean that we don't love our home country. We love both places. So. Anyways,
absolutely, guys. Listen, I'm going to move on to another caller. Thank you, MJ, for calling in. You really are awesome, buddy. Thank you. We're going to bring in Quentin Liu. I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Hey, Quentin, can you hear us, buddy?
Leo.
Yeah. Hi,
Oh.
guys. Yeah, I'm
Hey,
sorry.
hey. I
It's
think I'm
really
going to give.
late. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah,
No,
I'm
go
sorry
ahead.
late. I'm in Africa right now. I'm in Ghana, so I'm calling on.
Nice.
Actually,
yeah.
yeah, it's very interesting too because lately I've been reading the news about United States and China, and I'm really worried too because for myself, I used to be a U.S. citizen, and for some reason that I changed my nationality. Right now, I'm also a Hong Kong citizen, but my ancestry, I was born in China, and surprisingly, I was born in Xinjiang also. So I'm a Xinjiang.
Oh, wow.
So with all that news in regards of Xinjiang and all that negativities, I want home every year for Chinese holidays,
New
for
Year.
Chinese New
Yeah.
Years. It's frustrating to see how the West portrays somewhere I grew up with, and totally different. I mean, in respect of the Xinjiang issue, I grew up with a lot of Muslim friends. My neighbors, my uncles, my teachers, they're Uyghurs, and
Okay.
we get along just fine. We get along just fine. And then
Happy life, right?
Yeah.
it was a really peaceful and happy life until that, and it was just not true of what I see on YouTube. And then a lot of people saying, like, I leave comments there and there, and people saying, oh, okay, if you're in China, how do you get on YouTube? How do you leave all these messages and all that stuff? I said, okay, first of all, I'm not in China, and there's Chinese people outside. And it's just, I also don't see a lot of Chinese people speaking up about the truth in China, you know? And it's quite frustrating. And then I don't know what to say actually. Sometimes it's just, and sometimes I'm here in Africa. I'm doing business here, obviously, and then there's a lot of sentiments that African countries need to be aware of Chinese investors or some type of debt traps, for people here. And I talked to the politicians here too. Also, I was like, you look at what United States has been doing around the world lately, and then you look at Chinese people. What are we asking for? Most of the Chinese people do business on the basis of doing business. I mean, I came to this country because I thought that there's profit to be made and there's a return to be made on my investments. There's no political agendas. If there was political agendas, then I will come in a different way to do that. And then I think a lot of people in the United States don't realize that how intermingled they are with the Chinese society. Because we look at all those companies, WeChat, Alibaba. Alibaba was listed in the United States through a VIE structure, because I used to work in the VC fund also. And in Shanghai, investing in startups like in Douyin or other like Keep. I don't know if you guys know the app Keep for
Nope.
I have no clue now.
It's an app for basically for working out at a house and basically maintaining it's a workout app basically. A lot of those companies are invested by foreign capital, and once they get invested in the foreign capital, one of the exit strategies for investors is to get either bought by BATs, Baidu, Alibaba, or Tencent, or get listed in the United States Stock Exchange.
Sure.
And then who are the actually owners of those companies are the United States citizens, the shareholders, the people who buy stocks out of those companies. So you're banning, and Trump is basically saying that, okay, if China doesn't open up its market or its internet industry to the United States, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But in fact, they didn't realize that they are owners of some of the huge tech giants in China.
Yeah, I think that starts going to change though, because Shanghai have got the star market up now, and I believe that Ali and Financial, which are part of Alibaba, are now going to list on the Star Market with a dual listing in Hong Kong, and I think Xiaomi are also going to list on Hong Kong. So I think America are going to start. You know, the big merchant banks in America who make, you know, millions of dollars profit out of these listings are going to start to lose some of that profit. And I believe already some of those big investment banks have already started sort of complaining to the authorities in the US that they're not going to see these big listings anymore. So, you know, really Trump shoots himself in the foot because he doesn't think this policy through, you know.
Definitely. It's, I mean, the two cultures so intermingled. It's impossible to just say, okay, we're going to get a divorce one day.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely, yeah.
We're going to get
crazy.
We're going to be so very independent of, you know, China, and it's impossible to do. He doesn't realize that, and it's hurting both sides. And especially in a time of crisis like this, it's just frustrating. It's very
dangerous. I agree.
It is very dangerous.
We have many callers on the line. I think I have 2 questions for you. Do you love China? Yes or no?
Oh yes, I do. Definitely do.
Yeah. Is there peace in Xinjiang? Is it such chaos in Xinjiang?
Sorry, can you say that again? The line was...
Is there really such big chaos in Xinjiang as the Western media tries the people to believe?
No, I would say no. There's a lot of security measures in Xinjiang, but I would say no in terms of that. What Western portrays Xinjiang, you would think there's a lot of security measures due to the unrest. What happens? I think back in 2009, when
but that's terrorism. That's because of terrorism.
Actually, if you want to see a lot of really interesting stuff, former panel member here, New Moves, Jonathan.
Yeah, he did a great video.
He's been putting out a series recently about his travels in Xinjiang, and if you want to see how it is, go and see his videos because he does a great job of just showing how it is. He's fantastic for debunking a lot of stuff, and he shows the security measures. He shows how.
I'd also like to say one thing here. Okay, so Xinjiang have dealt with terrorism by incarcerating people. America have dealt with terrorism by killing 500,000 people in the Middle East and in other parts of the world. So just look at it. Is it better to lock some people up or just kill them? In my book, it's probably better to lock them up and try to re-educate them than blow the shit out of them, you know. 500,000 people, and that's a conservative estimate, America have killed in their wars around the world. That is a lot of people.
It's an interesting...
Listen, gentlemen.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Quentin. Last thought on this, please.
Okay, yes. It's very good point of view because all United States consider Uyghurs. And actually, you look at back in the days, there's a lot of Uyghurs in Guantanamo Bay. Okay. So East Turkestan movement has been identified by the United States as a terrorist organization. And that's one of the main reasons why a lot of them was incarcerated in Guantanamo Bay without trial. Okay, I was actually on the ground during the time of the protest, and I saw a lot of horrific stuff that really questioned the humanity. I questioned really. Because for people, I gotta ask myself, those people that I call uncles, I call aunts, were fine just the day before, and then for the very next day, turn on you like that. Why? What is the backstory of it? Because I was around
politics.
I was in college at that time, and then I was studying United States, but I traveled back to Xinjiang for the summer vacation when that thing happened, and everything was fine on day one. There was a protest, and then there was a massacre. And people were running.
Absolutely, dude. That is dirty politics for you right there, and that is why I believe we in China are very safe and led by a real great government.
They're actually funny thing to do with politics.
For you guys. I have one question for you guys because it's very personal for me. do you guys know when China is going to open up its borders for international travel, especially for foreigners?
It's already
Because
starting to think about it pretty much now.
Yeah, that's
Pretty much
right.
Tentatively with different countries, we'll have different points. I guess America's not going to be coming
Yeah.
back forever because, I mean, would you? But other countries other than America, I guess. And that's not America bashing. That's just because America has like a huge problem with it. I think I've seen a lot of articles recently about tentative measures to start opening up and start allowing people back.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. All right, thank you, guys.
Awesome. Quentin Liu, how do you say your surname? Leo.
Leo.
Leo,
Should be in Chinese.
Leo.
Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
so much
Chinese.
for coming on, dude.
Thank
We
you.
do appreciate it, and all the best of luck. Get
Thanks.
yourself back to China
Thank
because
you.
it's safe here, my friend.
Great.
Cheers.
Great. Thank you.
Have a good one. Cheers, buddy.
Listen,
Listen, guys,
funny little anecdote I thought I'd just share quickly to do with politics and actual normal everyday life, which was from Chongqing. You have to ask Matt as well. Me, Matt, and Jim were sat out one night filming all day, and we've been having some Chongqing local spicy food. And an old man came up, and we thought he was kind of a bit of a crazy at first, but he said one thing which made it kind of stuck with me. And he said, "You guys are from America." Obviously not me, I'm English. But he said, "I'm from China." And he said, "Our governments are fighting and the governments don't like each other. And in the news, it's portrayed as the two countries hate each other." He said, "But we don't. All the people love each other." He said, "The actual people, we all love each other and there's no problem." And this is from a pretty old man, like somebody who was at least 70 plus.
Listen, guys, it is the end for Cyrus on the show today. We're going to let Cyrus go. So we're going to give him a few minutes to quickly say what is happening on his channel. And when can we see you again, Cyrus? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay,
Guys,
go ahead. Tell us what's happening on your channel. And we're going to say bye. Then we'll take one more caller and move to Chongqing. Thank you. Go ahead, Cyrus.
Perfect. Well, I got some exciting things on the channel coming up. I'm actually working on a Xinjiang piece right now. Just some pulling together some data and some things that I'm going to share. Get a lot of requests from people to make certain videos, so I'm going to slowly kind of go through those. And then I've also recently taken my first flight, post-COVID, or since COVID happened. So I've got a little travel vlog that I'm going to launch as well. But anyways, it's a pleasure to be here on the Let's Talk China show. I just want to thank you all for your time. Thank you to everybody for those super chats and the stickers and all the support. We love you guys. We love sharing our insights into China, and we can't wait to see you guys in the next show.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank
Cyrus.
you, Cyrus. Take care.
Cheers. Nice to meet you.
Alex, absolutely.
Thanks,
Alex, all right, guys.
We're going to let you go. Thank you as always, buddy. And
Can
with
I
that
just
said,
deal with a couple of super chats, Jerry, just before we move on? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so
No, absolutely not.
Camp 35mm. This whole anti-China thing started with the pivot to the Pacific by Obama in 2011, so it's not recent. Yeah, that is actually true. They moved their sort of hostilities from the Middle East towards China back in that time. Trevor Norman says, getting most of my friends in the UK onto WeChat because I refuse to use WhatsApp. Again, Trevor, thank you for that. And then we've got DHG1234. China owns trillions of dollars in US Treasury bills. US borrows money from China to fight China. Ironic. Yeah, and that is something they do own a huge amount of Treasury bills. So I think, if they wanted to really harm America, they could start using that as a weapon. But I doubt whether they will, because I think they are more strategic than that. Thanks, Jerry, for letting me do that.
Awesome. That's no problem, guys. I'm going to bring in maybe 2 more callers. But listen, there's 2 callers. Can we keep it 1 to 2 minutes? Because we are moving on to our next segment. But I want to go through everyone. There's so many callers lined up backstage. Guys, next week, I'm sure you will have a chance to call in. Remember to do it quickly as possible. We only take 3 to 4 callers at a time. So, Alex, you wanted to say something before I bring on the...
I did about what? I thought I'd already all spoken out, but yeah, I didn't have anything to say. Not
all right,
currently
cool.
anyway.
All right, cool. Let's bring up one caller and then the last one. Hey, Roger, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly well.
Good. Awesome.
Hi,
Good to
Roger.
Can you hear me?
Roger.
Yeah.
Where are you
Hello,
guys?
hello.
Roger.
I absolutely love your channels. I can hear. You can probably hear from my accent. I am British Chinese. I'm currently in London, and the comment I'd like to say is not really a question. It's I'm very bleary-eyed at the moment, as you can imagine. As you know, the time of day in night rather.
It's pretty early
4
morning,
4
right?
a.m. Yeah, 4 a.m. I've stayed up just for you guys because I love you too much. Yeah, the thing that we've got to realize with a lot of Western people who think that somehow we Chinese people, that includes us overseas Chinese people, want this Western idea of liberal democracy and all that nonsense. Well, put it this way. Think about it from our perspective, people. 2 centuries ago, your ancestors, your ancestors came into our country, looted our wealth, killed our people with your drugs and your guns, humiliated us for 100 years, and it's this government that put a stop to it that we got now. Now we've risen like a phoenix from the ashes. We've now, in terms of global influence, we were not this powerful for 6 centuries. We have not been as powerful as we are. The last time we were at, our civilization has this much global influence. This was before Columbus was even born. 600 years we've not been this powerful on the global stage. For 6,000 years, we have not had the sort of living standards we have now. For the first time ever, the lower 60% of Chinese people have had any sort of disposable income, if you think about it. And somehow,
Lee, do you want to? You and
you
Alex,
guys, the descendants of the same, drug dealers and invaders, come to us as some sort of saviors. You've got the cheek and the nerve. Who do you think we are going to trust? Are we going to trust this government that's brought us better living standards than we've ever had for 6,000 years? Or are we going to trust you guys, the descendants of drug dealers and people descendants of people who dealt drugs and looted our wealth? Who do you think we're going to believe?
It's a very good point, Roger. It's a really good point, Roger, and I think this is a massive misunderstanding in the West, that they think the Chinese people don't want their government because the government is evil, when in reality a majority of Chinese people are more than happy with the government they have. And I think part of the problem is that a lot of Westerners, in their heads, they think China is like China was 50 years ago. And in that time, there's been massive reform in the government. They're more of a, in fact, the word communism is the wrong word, because that conjures up in Western minds like North Korea, when in fact, if those Western people actually came here, they'd see it's a pretty capitalist society. But the government here in China looks after national interests. So whereas you have the UK, they've sold everything off. All the utilities have been sold off to private companies where they make huge amounts of money for the shareholders. The Chinese government have not let Americans and British do that. They've kept all their strategic industries away from foreign buyers. And I think that's a big problem to foreigners, because they haven't been able to come in and loot all those industries like they have like
they did 200 years ago.
Absolutely,
like their ancestors did 200 years ago.
History is history. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. It's not going to happen.
Germans, we English don't hold the Germans like.
No, I'm not pretending you should, and I'm certainly not. And I'm certainly don't hold either Brits or the Japanese to any sort of. I don't have any animosity against modern day Brits or Japanese either. Or Russians or whatever. But the idea that the descendants of such people are coming to us as if they're some sort of saviors. What? You have got the cheek and the nerve. Pompeo, you've got the cheek and the nerve to pretend that we want a different government. We want to accept your values.
I get where Roger is coming from. I totally get.
Yeah, I do too, to be honest.
And respectfully so, Roger, seriously, I do get where you're coming from. And hey, this is why we do these shows, you know, try to explain to people what China really is. You know, I think it's time for people to learn more about China. I think it all comes down to that. You know, it's time for people to respect China for what they have become. And I think it's time for the world to leave China the hell alone. That China
Let
can
them
be
do their
China.
thing, yeah.
China want to be China without any war, without any nonsense. They just want to continue being a successful country. So I totally get where you are coming from, Roger. Is there a last final word you wanna say to all of us before I let you go, buddy? Sorry, time is busy cutting us here.
Well, other than I love your work and I will continue to support you in any way I could. Yeah, well, enjoy my country. I wish I was there with you. I wish I can join you, and I wish I wish I'm actually able to come on as a regular speaker. But it is what it is right now.
Well, we can call you. I can call you sometime. You can reach out to me and maybe come on to one of our shows. But hey, you can always call in.
That will be absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've extensively studied through my life. I've always been fascinated with Chinese history, and since the age of 6 when I came to the UK, this is my history is like one of the very few links I have with China, and that's I grew up with the history, and there's things I'd love to talk about. There are lots of things I'd love to talk about. Misconceptions, even in the Mao era, even misconceptions people have about the Mao era. You know, my parents lived through it. My mother, I didn't live through it, but my mother did. My parents did, and my grandparents did. And misconceptions about the Great Leap Forward. I'm not saying it wasn't terrible. It was, but there is a rationale to it, and I would like to explain what I believe that rationale to be. And this, I would love the opportunity to come on and be a regular guest and talk about China from I would like to bring to the table a historical perspective, not just recent history, but ancient history as well. Just why China is China today from a historical perspective. And one more person I would like to recommend people watch and find out about is Dr. Martin Zhach. Okay, he is one of the very few.
I've seen his stuff.
Yeah, one of the very few Western academics that really understand China. Okay.
Awesome. Listen, Roger, thank you so much for calling in, my brother. What I want you to do is, while you talk so factual, and I like the way you speak, my brother, can you please tell the people what this is on the screen?
Right. If you like to support this show, please scan this. Please scan this QR code and support the show.
Awesome, Roger. Thank you so much, my buddy, and I will see you next time in the show. Enjoy your time, my buddy.
Yeah, I would like to. I would like to be a regular guest on the show. If we could make that happen, that would be fantastic. Brilliant.
Awesome, Roger. Have a good one.
Cheers, Roger.
Guys,
you too, all three of you.
Listen, guys,
say hi to Cyrus as well.
We're gonna move on, and we're gonna bring our Chongqing guest in. But first, we have a video, Wesley, that you can bring up. We have a video we want to show you guys. These boys have been rocking and rolling in Chongqing. We are busy moving towards the end of the show now. And this is all about Chongqing. I haven't been there myself, but these two lads on this side of me have been rocking and rolling it. And today we want to show
my
you...
video.
We want to show a video that Alex Absolute edited. And he was there with Matt from the Gyro Nation. And Lee Barrett was there like 2-3 times already. I am so eager to get my ass into this mega city. But first, let's start off before we bring Xiao on.
Lee Barrett. He's Lee Chongqing Barrett. That's his new middle name.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna play this video for you guys. Feast your eyes on this small edit that Alex prepared for us. And these videos are busy going up on Alex from Alex Absolute, Matt the Gyro Nation, and Barrett channels. Guys, enjoy. Let's check it out. My God, dude, that is insane. That is insane. I can tell you guys, that is insane. Let's bring the beautiful Xiao into. Let's all talk about that video clip to start off.
She was in the
Xiao,
video.
How are you
She
doing?
made
Good
it into that
morning.
video clip.
Yeah, very good. I've been watching all the show at the beginning, and it's a very good conversation, discussion, very insightful and informative. Yeah, and hello everybody,
Hi,
and
Xiao.
Hi, Xiao.
yeah, nice to see you here again. Really, like you guys just left Chongqing not long ago, and Jerry gonna come. I mean, like maybe next month, I think, right? Like here, and with this very wonderful video around, and I think we can tell good stories and have people know more about the city. Yeah, where I live, Chongqing. I'm Xiao from iChongqing. Yeah.
Hey, Xiao. Hi, Xiao. Alex, take us away. Run us through this clip. Man, that editing is insane.
It's
the
fantastic.
city looks cool. Alex, run us through everything.
So the editing, I would say the editing in that was kind of, I'd say, the halfway mark of what I'm possible of, just because that was just quick. I just edited that quickly together. If I had more time, I would probably do something a little better, but I wanted to get some dope clips out. And we've spent a lot of time. I could literally, like, the 8 days I was there wasn't enough to get as much as what I wanted. I think I could spend a year there and still be about halfway down. There's so many things to do, so many things to see. We were literally on our feet, like from basically the day it started. We were on our feet just filming, and that wasn't because like we're being rushed around anywhere. That was just because there was so much stuff to see. It was like I don't know. It was just amazing. It was being in this whole different place, because it's very, very different to a lot of places where I've been because of the way the city's built up and over the mountains. Like Wenzhou's got a lot of mountains, but they're around the city and you can go to them, but it's not, the city isn't really built over them. So Chongqing has a lot of unique features of tunnels. Like you can be, you could be, I think Xiao said to me the first day I got there, Xiao said you could be, the GPS could show you in the exact same location as your friend. And you'd think you are, but you can't see them. And it's because they're 4 stories down.
Yeah, different layers.
Just
so
in
you see the spot just there, but you know it's maybe up there or down there. So it's kind of sometimes by the GPS, you know, like there's sometimes tricky thing. Sometimes it's good, you know, to ask people. It also works.
Yeah, and you see that one of the fun parts was, if you saw in that video clip, there was actually Xiao was in that video clip playing with at the technology park, the 5G. Technology park we went to. It was pretty fantastic. It was like this utopian, futuristic kind of thing that I'd love the rest of the world to become. When they had this interactive wall and it had like an interactive aquarium. And me and Xiao spent so long waiting for the shark to come back so Xiao could see if it would attack her. And it
pretty cool. Lee, do you want to talk about Chongqing real quick? Because I know there's a lot of stuff you want to speak about Chongqing today. I just want to let the people know. Lee has been there 3 times now already, isn't it? Is it 2 times or 3 times now?
I think 2. We went to 2. We've been there 2 times, but we will be going back again very soon. Right.
Seems like the Barretts love it over there, right?
Yeah, it is a great city. So first of all, I just want to clear up some misconceptions. So I want to first of all say that iChongqing, who invited a number of YouTubers to Chongqing. Now, iChongqing are a media group, and it is their job to promote the city of Chongqing to both internal Chinese tourists as well as international tourists. And they had a remit that they wanted to get Chongqing known to more international tourists. And to do with that, they created a program to invite a number of foreign YouTubers to Chongqing to explore the city and some of the facilities in the city. And I just want to set the records straight here. This project has been in the planning for quite some time, maybe 5 or 6 months. It was actually delayed slightly because of the COVID situation. And from a YouTuber's point of view, it operates like influencers in any other part of the world. We as influencers, we pay our own travel costs to get to Chongqing. When we're in Chongqing, iChongqing cover the cost of our hotel, our food, and the cost of some of the trips. They organize the transportation to the tourist areas. Now, the reason I'm bringing this up, I also want to say we receive no salary or money for our time whatsoever. We give our time to do that because we also understand it will benefit our own channels.
Absolutely.
The reason
that makes sense.
Yeah. So the reason I'm saying this is because we've got a couple of YouTubers. I call them the California clowns. They're two YouTubers who are becoming more and more irrelevant in the China scene because they haven't been here for more than 2 years. But they sit in front of a green screen in California pretending they're the China experts. And they have been spreading rumors that this whole Chongqing thing is a government-sponsored thing to divert attention from the recent flooding in China. And I just want to put that to bed, that is not the case at all. I would also like to say that myself and Matt from Xiao Nation visited the Three Gorges Dam very recently. Now, I met up with Matt in Chongqing for that because he was there at the time. But our whole excursion to the dam was completely funded by ourselves. It had nothing to do with the Chinese government, neither iChongqing Media. We paid all our own travel, hotel, accommodation, and food. And what's also kind of funny is those clowns seem to be talking in their video that the Three Gorges Dam is in Chongqing. Well, actually, it's not. The Three Gorges Dam is in Hubei province.
And
it's so far away.
Yeah, it's maybe 500 or 600 kilometers away because we took a high-speed train journey for 4 hours and then we had to drive for another 40 minutes to get to the dam. So it just shows you how much of experts on China they are. They seem to think there's some sort of conspiracy going on with iChongqing and Chongqing city authorities to hide the fact that there is areas of flooding. Now, there are areas of flooding in China. China this year has had unprecedented rainfall, and there are a number of areas that have been flooded, which is absolutely tragic. You know, people have lost their lives. It's terrible. But what you have to understand is China is a huge, huge country. And the flooding has been kind of localized. It's not the whole of China. It's not the whole of Chongqing. You know, many areas have not flooded. So I just want to sort of clear all this up because I don't like it when you have these YouTubers that spread lies and misinformation about this situation on YouTube. So I just wanted to make sure that was cleaned up before we go on.
And I agree with you, but you see, Lee, if you wear a suit, you're an expert. So let me get my...
Oh, of course, yeah.
let me get my jacket on here. Let's talk about China, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you sure need to go check out Chongqing because listen to me. I've seen Alex Reporterfy's media. I've seen Barrett's media videos. I've seen a video of Alex absolutely released one, and I'm so goddamn into that.
Go and see it.
I want to check that second part because this man ended off that video with like, what the hell's going to happen, Alex? And now I need to wait for that second video.
Gotta wait and see, right?
So you guys need to go check it out. Listen, I want to ask Xiao, how can people find you? Because I can tell you there will be a lot of people going to Chongqing through the videos of, you know, the Barretts, Alex Reporterfy Media, Alex, Xiao Nation. And obviously, I will be going down there soon. So please tell us, how can people find you? Because I think we need to get people into Chongqing to go check out that mega city of 30 million people, the secret mega city.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so many of like the YouTubers already here, like Alex, Xiao Nation, and also Barrett, 60, that they call this city, I mean, like mega city or the largest metropolis in China. Yeah, there's a reason because there are like over 30 million people in this area, and we have like the downtown area and many districts and counties and hidden sceneries. And before, Chongqing has now become recent years like rank among the top places for travel in China, even within China. The TikTok make it so popular within China, like now it's like the fastest growing tourist place. And because like also, in China, many people already know it and start to traveling and a lot in this city. So we are think, we also want many more foreign friends join, to enjoy the scenery, the grand nature scenery, all the very beautiful cityscape, like skyscraper, different like a metropolis among mountains these days. So we have this platform, like we said, called iChongqing, that we provide English information about this city, about its tourism, about its news happening, big events every day. So here, like, how can you find us? It's like, for example, YouTube, just try to find iChongqing, and you'll get to our channel, like it, subscribe to it, you'll get updates about what's happening in a Chinese city like this every day, like that. And then we have like our website, of course, like ichongqing.info, and that you will get like even like to the website a lot of information in English language, reduce the language barriers, right, like that. And of course Facebook, Twitter, and that if you want to like contact to us, you can write in our social media, there are comments area. We'll try to like to our best to reply you on time, like that, and ask questions. And we get to know Alex at Reporterfy Media, right? We get to know him because he contacted us through our also
yeah, that's not
just flick to me then.
So we are completely like accessible, and we are open to.
Xiao is cute as usual. Someone just said in the comments section.
Thank you. That hit me a few times already, I think. Yeah.
Listen, thank you, Xiao. We will get the information for iChongqing in the side chats or in the description as well. But for now, you guys can go ahead and click on the YouTube channel. I'm sure you can find all the details there.
Yeah, her link is down below.
A link is below in the description. Listen, Lee, can you tell us something about Chongqing that's really wow? Because it seems like there are some people trying to, I don't know, play off Chongqing for some other reason, just because iChongqing let YouTubers go film there. So can you tell us, is it really that cool?
It is a very, very cool city. It's just, I like city life. I grew up very near a city in the UK, and I really like city life. And it is a great place. There's a lot to do. You travel slightly outside the city. You've got more rural areas. In fact, literally just maybe, 15, 20 minutes drive out of the city, we were in this kind of forest, and we did this zip wire thing, and that was really, really cool. And there's just so much to do in the city. There's cool restaurants to eat at. There's cool shopping if you're into shopping. They've got a massively cool new shopping center there called Raffles City. All the latest stores and that. They've got virtual reality kind of arcades there that you can play in. They have technology going on. As I say, then just slightly out of the city is other things too. Then if you go even further out of the city, they've got things like Heavenly Pit, which I think Alex also went to. Pretty hard work getting back up there. And
if you want to lose like 4 kilograms in your body weight, sure, just go ahead.
Yeah. And they've got the gorges. They've got the rock carvings over in Dardu. There is just a huge amount to do. We were there for a total of about 10 days the first time, and that just wasn't enough. There's so much more to see. And me and Ollie went back there for a couple of days after we beat the dam with Matt. And again, that was all on our own finance and our own time. That was nothing to do with iChongqing. iChongqing were good enough to recommend some places we went to visit. So we went to a disused railway station, which is really pretty cool. And then near to there's a sort of area which is the old university campus where people sort of do art on the walls, and there's some cool little sort of cafes and places to eat and drink there as well. So yeah, I mean it's a cool place. It's a really, really nice city. It really is.
That's pretty awesome, man. Alex, let's move on to you. Tell us something about Chongqing, because you guys have been there. I haven't been there yet. Please let the audience know your feeling. How is Chongqing, buddy? Run us through.
Chongqing, apart from it, there's something for everyone. If you like all the city and like the city in itself is kind of a blend, similar to Chengdu. It's like a blend of the traditional and the modern, because you can get that real, like for me, the one thing I wanted to see there was the Blade Runner-esque thing, because everybody says, oh, Chongqing, the Blade Runner city of China. So I took an anamorphic lens there. I probably didn't use it quite as often as I should have done. But going back to the last shot of that video, I shot that with my 50mm anamorphic lens. It was recommended to me on the last night by Mikhail, who is the iChongqing camera / editing. He works with Xiao a lot. If you go to the iChongqing channel, you'll see him there in videos with Xiao. And he sent me a picture and he said, "This is the ultimate Blade Runner shot," and then told me where to go. So we'd been out with iChongqing, with Catherine and with Yo-Yo and all those people after doing the interviews. And it was last night, and I was like, I have to get this shot. So full of beer and really needing the toilet, I caught a taxi all the way back to the hotel, got my camera, all the way back and up the hill to this station, paid to go in, and then stood on the platform for half an hour, just so I could get this one shot. It's the last shot of that video, and it just looks super, super great.
And we're gonna.
Hey, Alex, how crazy are the roads in Chongqing?
The roads are insane. You see in that shot, one of those shots that Matt shot with the curly roads. It's just insane. And the beautiful thing is, you can go from that environment, and then you can go straight out into the countryside, like Lee was saying. It's about like 4 to 5 hours, depending on how fast your driver drives. I mean, we had a driver who thought he was the new Ayrton Senna. He was going some. But anyway, you can go out there, and then you can have you can see that beautiful view that's on the 10 RMB note. You can go to the top of the Three Gorges entrance there, and then you can obviously do what Lee said, which is go down Heavenly Pit. And I advise you, if you are not fit, do not try it, because it will kill you. Although we found out afterwards, you can, for 500 RMB, pay the emergency rescue fee, and they will come and lift you up from the bottom, which if I'd known it was that cheap, probably might have done that. Because I had, I think, about 15 kilograms of baggage, or like camera stuff.
Oh, I heard Matt carried it all back up for you, Alex.
No, Matt carried my drone. I had the bag on. I had the bag. Matt carried my drone, and I, for half of the way, carried my camera. But I had a DJI Ronin S, and I had a DJI Ronin S, which is a huge gimbal with camera set up on top. But yeah, the bag was probably the worst part of that. It was insane, but you know, it's everything like that. Health and safety comes like number 2 after getting the shot. You've got to get the shot. It was well worth it. Even with it being so grueling, it was insanely beautiful. If you see the pictures I've shared, where it looks like this small hole with us stood at the bottom, that hole is probably 500 meters across. To put it in perspective, it's a insane. I don't know, but it's like, it's not one of the 7 wonders of the world, but it should be. It's nice. To put it, another way to put it in perspective is, I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 feet less than walking the whole way down the Burj Khalifa and back up, which is the world's tallest building. It's nice. You can't see, no content, no video, no picture shows the immense depth and how breathtaking it is to be there.
Okay. All right. Listen, Alex, I want to move to Xiao. I want her to talk to us a little bit more about Chongqing. We know how to reach you, Xiao. We know a little bit more about Chongqing, but can you give us some sort of a schedule? What is happening through the year? Some big events coming up, maybe in Chongqing, let's say for the rest of the year. Is there something big happening in Chongqing, or like annually, that you can talk about?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, like the second half of the year, the biggest event will be the Smart China Expo. That like the technology fair, you know, you can understand that way. A lot of like futuristic like technologies will gonna display, and it's like one of the biggest event around the year. And it's like like the technology companies all around China and also overseas. Okay, they will show their products that are gonna change our life, more digital, right? That is the topic, more intelligent and smart lifestyle and like manufacturing way. So they're gonna display their products here. Well, this year will different. This is third year, the Smart China Expo gonna be held, but this year still, because the epidemic, right? And many companies cannot come on the spot but we still will have like online show of this whole event. And of course, like iChongqing, we do like the English promotion of this city also, and we will gradually come out a lot of information about this fair. And it's like last 2 years I was there. I did some interviews with my colleague and say around the fair and the vlogs, and it's really fantastic. You can go to our like iChongqing YouTube channel to check out like what happened before, like the drone, the autonomous driving, everything. The top technology is gonna be displayed. And I know possibly like Jerry or Barrett, maybe you have time. Welcome, like to check this out. This is one of the biggest.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I actually saw iChongqing's videos where you do interviews with Barrett, and you did with Guilo60. I actually saw one with Alex Absolute and Magi Nation also. My God, the production on your guys' videos are just insanely great.
And she's a great host. Let's not forget. Without Xiao.
Oh yeah.
With the Barrett and like all the YouTubers here help like support that we can produce, because when like all the YouTubers we invite include like Alex and also Barrett and Jerry maybe will come soon, right? Hope so. And
that's right.
like,
we are coming back.
I'm coming back as well. I'm definitely coming back.
When they are doing vlogs around Chongqing, then when they are doing live streams of Chongqing, of course, iChongqing, we don't want to absent. So we have our programs like Travel Guide, Chongqing Travel Guide, special edition for YouTubers. Like this time, we have like when they are here, we will do some programs with them together, like vlogs together or talk show together and like interviews. So we have like another side of their story on our like YouTube channel. It will be interesting to check out.
I believe we have a live stream coming up soon, hopefully, Xiao. We said we would live stream, I guess, with me, Matt, and you guys from iChongqing, right?
That's yeah. Like with them, that will be great. Like we talk more, on the footage or experience you take will be more detail. I think more detail.
Because one of the things that I really wanted to do while I was there, but we didn't have time because it was there was so much to do, was have you teach me local dialect from Chongqing.
Local dialect. That will be interesting. I come out with some, and I think we can share like in the coming like live streams. That's an interesting local dialect and with the strong local characteristics. Like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun. And Xiao, I think we will not go down to Chongqing only once. I think we will follow the Barrett's way and go down there 2, 3, 5, 6 to 10 times, because by the looks of things on the Gyro Nation's channel, on the Barrett's channel, Alex Absolute's channel, if you guys want to go see some serious Chongqing videos, go check it out. And please make sure,
check out
be
Alex
sure,
report,
and be sure to go to iChongqing's YouTube channel. These guys are working hard, and they are doing it merely because they love their city. They want to promote their city, and I feel it's a clean, awesome strategy they are following, getting YouTubers to come enjoy a stay in Chongqing, get experience of Chongqing, and make videos about Chongqing. I see seriously nothing wrong with it. In fact, I see that's very generous of you, Xiao, for inviting us down there, that we can go eat some spicy hot pot, right?
Yeah, I have one point to ask, like I used to travel abroad also. One thing is like, of course, attractions that attract me there, and another thing I have to say is about the people. If I have very good experience there and have like meet very nice people there, I really will increase my like about this place. So about Chongqing, before the YouTubers come, I always tell them that Chongqing people here are very friendly, very nice. Like I will bring them some very nice experience. I just want to ask what Barrett and Alex think about that, like the Chongqing local people. How do you feel like will you travel here? How do they? Yeah, like
go ahead, James. Who's taking it first? So we start with Lee this time.
I'll go to you. Come on.
Yeah, I found the people to be very friendly. I didn't have a poor experience at all in Chongqing. Restaurants, people are friendly. Attractions, people are friendly. We went to various places and people were just amazing with us. They were very pleased to see us. It was nice just to sit down with people and have a drink or have a chat. There's a lot of people. I don't speak a lot of Chinese, but there's a lot of people whose English is pretty good there. So we had a great time. People very, very friendly indeed. Very welcoming.
And before I move on to Alex Absolute, Xiao, do you use WeChat? Because we were speaking about WeChat this morning. Do you use WeChat?
Of course. I don't know.
Can you please tell the audience what is on the screen right now?
Okay, this is a
Bananas.
this is like the WeChat code, QR code that when you scan with your WeChat and you can donate to pay some, like the extra fee, something to support the people are doing great content here. Yeah.
Thank you, Xiao. So if you guys want to support the show, this show is called Let's Talk China. You go ahead, scan this QR code, and you will donate directly to the show. I want to move over to Alex Absolute to round things up real quick. Alex, can you? Oh, are you
Sorry.
busy over there? No worries.
She's just come to get some stuff out of there.
No worries.
It's fine.
So Xiao was asking about the Chongqing people. Go ahead, Alex. Please give us your thought.
Oh, Chongqing people are great. It was we had a lot of some of myself and Matt's best interactions with just people on the street and just talking to people, going out there. It helps that like both myself and Matt speak Chinese, so like I can speak enough Chinese that I could sit and have pretty decent conversations with people in Chinese. So we experienced a lot. There was a lot of friendly people, and it wouldn't matter if you spoke Chinese or not. It just happened that we did. But you can get. There's a lot of cool stuff to see, and it's not just a place that makes the experience. It's the people within that place which make the experience. So if you it could be the best city in the world, and if the people weren't nice, you'd still have a terrible time. And we had a fantastic time, and that was in like half in part because it's a fantastic place, but half in part because the people were just nice. So we had a lot of fun. People looked after us. People went out of their way to come over and say hello. We talked. We just ran. Like you'll see through all of our videos the interactions with people. It was all good. There was nothing that was bad.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Listen, we're gonna stop right here. We're gonna wrap up the show. We're gonna start with Xiao. Xiao, people are gonna find you on all the social media links, which are in all of them are in the description, or you can find them, I'm sure, on the guys' YouTube channels. If you want to get hold of Xiao to go have your awesome holiday in Chongqing. Sorry. Now, I wanna start with Alex. Alex, what's happening on your channel? You just finished your first video. Can you tell us what's happening on your channel this week? And then we're gonna move to Lee and then to Xiao.
Okay, so for me, I obviously put out my first Chongqing video. The first Chongqing video, I guess, would be, as far as quality-wise, will be the lowest of the ones because it was before the first day because I arrived a day early and I kind of didn't plan it so well and I kind of cobbled it together. But it's been well received. I think it did pretty well. I'm going to release another video. In fact, I'm going to slightly polish the clip which you guys saw and release that as a teaser for what's coming. And then next week, I think I will put out a video about the 10 RMB view, going to visit the island and looking at the start of the 10 RMB view. And then I've got other videos to do with all the first lot of my videos will be on the beautiful countryside stuff that we saw out in Fengjie County. I might put out a few non-related videos in between them all, but because I've got like 1 or 2 videos already edited for that. But there's a lot of the first stuff will be beautiful countryside, and then it will move on to more of the city stuff. There's Raffles City, a whole bunch of stuff. There's too much stuff to. There's even a bit of urbex in there. Myself and Matt did some urbex. We found an abandoned theme park, which was kind of interesting across from where we were staying. I know that Lee and Matt also did it. They one-upped me and they climbed up the roller coaster, which I was kind of jealous about. I might have to steal their footage and like just rotoscope my head onto Lee's instead, so it looks like I was there.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's go to Lee. Lee, what's happening on the Barrett channel this week?
Okay, so Ollie's still on holiday, so editing's not going as fast as it should. I think we've got another one of our Chongqing videos that's going to go up. I'm not sure which one it is. We also have our second of our 2-part dam video going up when we're actually at the dam. The first one was actually us getting there. And then we made a video at a vending machine factory, which is pretty interesting. This is a company that makes vending machines that vend things like ice cream and real coffee and stuff like that. So that's not too bad. And and then we're starting to plan our sort of next trips away and things like that to get more. But we do have a lot in the pipeline coming, so stay tuned.
Possibly a bike trip.
Let's move.
Thank you everybody today for tuning into the stream, and appreciate everybody who's donated through super chats and super stickers. It's very, very much appreciated, and through WeChat, of course, very much appreciated.
Absolutely. And the beautiful Xiao from Chongqing. Can you go ahead and tell us what's happening on your channel and what's happening in Chongqing this week?
Yeah, of course, we can keep up with our videos, and with the YouTubers already come to Chongqing. We are still, editing some of the content that we did together with them on this amazing city. And also we are preparing for this coming big event, like the technology, like huge technology fair, like the Smart China Expo. And I think we're going to bring like some very refreshing and new technologies like on the screen very soon on our channel. So cool. Just thanks for everybody's subscribes and also likes about our iChongqing channel and the support. Like our wish is like we really want more people get to know our channel and get to know this city. And just hope you will like it. We are like reaching out, and hope people can get to know more about this.
I think you should get Yo-Yo on the channel as well.
Oh yeah, well, I think maybe I think she will be in one of our videos also, and also in your videos. I think, Alex, when you are.
I guess maybe. I guess I think so. Yeah. Well,
all right.
Also along with the tours here. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So be sure to go check out all these videos about Chongqing on their channels. You can find them on the Barrett channel, Alex Absolute, Matt from the Gyro Nation, and themselves, Xiao on iChongqing. There's your final chance to scan that QR code we were talking about, WeChat earlier. Guys, it's time to wrap this up, and I guess it's my turn right now. What's happening on my channel? I will be streaming tomorrow from a German prison here in Qingdao. So be sure to tune in, come check it out. It will be like 9 a.m. in the morning, 10ish. I'll see how it goes. I will be going to Chongqing real soon. I think I will be there in September. So that's a great thing happening on my channel. Other than that, I'm just going to stream and show you guys the streets of China. Once again, thank you so much for everyone that tuned in on all these channels. Do remember to hit that like button. Do remember to be brave and share these streams. And guys, I think this brings us to an end of a very long stream for this Saturday. Thank you for hanging out with us. From my side, I'll see you guys again, and stay awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, I know. I know that was on purpose. Bye.